Alright, so this is a video for requirement 3D of Tenderfoot. Yeah, of the Tenderfoot ring. It's demonstrate the proper care, sharpening, and use of a knife, saw, and axe. Describe when each should be used. And so with the, I'm just going to flip to the right pages so I can make sure that what I'm saying is right. Okay, there we go. So with the knife, I have my pocket knife here to show. I don't have a whetstone, but I do have this. But I do have this. So what you would want to do is it's fairly similar to a whetstone. You would just kind of at maybe a 20 to 30 degree angle, bring it down along it, but while doing that, move the knife so then it covers the entire area, or the entire perimeter, I guess, of the blade. So it would be like, and make sure to use make sure to do the same amount of sharpening things. Same amount on both sides, so that way it's equal. So you would just kind of go like, so that's how you do the knife. But for, proper use of a knife, just make sure when passing it to someone, make sure it's closed, and make sure they acknowledge it, like say thank you or something before you give it to them. Never leave it open and just lying around, because someone might step on it or hurt themselves with it, and it will damage the knife if it's just open and laying around. Never throw it unless it's a throwing knife, but even then, make sure you have all the right protection and everything for it. Alright, and then, only ever have one. If you have a knife, pocket knife like mine, only ever have one blade open at a time. Never more than one. Say I want to get the saw blade next. You just close the pocket knife blade and open up the saw, because you might neglect the other blade if you're using the saw one instead of the knife. And that's never good, because you always want to pay attention give all of your attention to the knife, so that way, nothing happens. Like, you don't accidentally, when you're sawing something, the blade doesn't, like, stab your hand or something. Okay, it's a good idea to carry it around with you, but not in all situations, because I don't think that the TSA would be very happy to find a knife in your luggage. So when on, like, a train or airport or just in public, make sure you follow their rules about, having a weapon on you. And never hit it with another tool, because that will damage the blade, but also it will, it might break the blade, and that's really bad, because I'm not really sure how you would handle that. All you'd have left is the handle. But anyway, and never use it to pry something, because the blade may bend, which is bad, because you always want a straight blade, or even worse, it might break, which, like I said, that is definitely no. Okay, so I believe that that's it for the knife. Next, let's do the axe. So whenever not using it, always have a sheath on it. Unfortunately, since this is quite an old axe, we don't have the sheath for it anymore, but we don't use it very much, and we make sure it's always in a safe location, that, you know, you can't accidentally fall or stumble into it. Oh, axe, there we go. Sorry, but always make sure you have, when using it, make sure you have the correct, like, leather gloves, eye protection when chopping firewood, for example. And make sure you have proper authorization, I guess, because that's a big thing. And if no one knows you're chopping wood and they just sneak up on you, because, I don't know, they're not good scouts, I guess, that's definitely no. So make sure the right people know that you're using the axe. Not to mention if they need the axe. They need to know where it is. Okay, make sure, you know, and like, I'm not sure if I said for the knife, but blood circle. So make sure there's no one really too close to you. That way, if something does happen, you're the only one at risk, and you're not putting anyone else in danger. But anyway, so, let's see. Okay, make sure it doesn't, you know, touch the ground, or it can touch the ground if it has a sheath on it, but just make sure it doesn't go into the ground, because the rocks and soil and everything may dull the blade, and that is never good. But anyway, so for sharpening an axe, it's basically the same thing as what I do with my knife. So you have the axe and then this. I'm not completely sure of what its name is, but so you would just go, dang, I should probably put it in my right hand. So you just go like, you know, just same thing as with the knife, about a 20-degree angle, and then, yeah, about a 20-degree angle. Make sure it's always pointing away from you, not towards you, so that way if anything does happen, like, or even if the blade is just too dull, it doesn't slip and hurt you or anyone else. Alright, so I should put that down. So I believe that's it for that one. Oh, and when handing it to someone, always, like scissors, hold it by the head, not the sharp part, and make sure the sharp part isn't over anyone's legs or any animal. And make sure they have a good grip on the handle when giving it to them. And of course, it's also a good idea, if possible, to just put it down on a table, not the ground, and then have them pick it up. Well, this is getting kind of long, sorry. But anyway. Alright, and then for the saw, so with the saw, I can just use I'm just going to use my pocket knife blade for that, to demonstrate. But anyway, so with the saw, make sure it's always cutting away from you, and if you are cutting, it doesn't go into the ground, it's not going into the ground so that the blade doesn't get dulled, or the rocks will dull the blade, much faster, and that's never good. And so, alright, and always sheath it, or, you know, in my case, just put it back, whenever it's not in use, make sure it's safe. Like, put a sheath on it, or just put it back into the knife. Okay, and make sure with all of these, make sure to always replace the dull blades, or sharpen them whenever they do get dull, because a dull blade is much more dangerous than a sharp blade. Because with a dull blade, you'd have to put more force into it, and it might slip, or hurting you or others. But with a sharp blade, you don't have to put nearly as much force, and it just goes straight through. I should probably use. Okay. Yeah, and with the saw, because half of it is, really dangerous. It's much better to just put it down, and have them pick it up. But yeah, I think that's what you should do. Okay. Oh, always use like leather gloves and eyewear, protective eyewear, because if anything gets into your eyes, that the saw may slip. It might do anything and go towards you or someone else, and that's not good. And you need gloves because, well, you're going to be using your hands to handle the saw, and so it's always a good idea, because if your hands get hurt, you can't use the saw. Okay. Yeah, I'll only use it when with permission, because it's because you might be messing something up, like if you're cutting a tree, you have to make sure that that tree isn't important. Yeah. And just don't leave it lying around camp, especially unsheathed, because make sure the right people know where it is. Alright, and so with sharpening it, it's best to, because there's a certain file, it's best to get it, have other people do it, like professionals. But with a handsaw, my aunt actually gave us this, it's probably backwards, but this thing, which is pretty cool, because, so what you would do is, so on this little slidey thing, you would put the, you would put the bladed side, like the sharp side of the handsaw, of the handsaw through here, and I'm not entirely sure if it's right for my pocket knife, so I'm just going to lightly demonstrate. I'm not using it, actually using it to sharpen it. But so you would, let's see, you would make the blade face up, put this in, there you go. Make sure to be very careful, and you should probably wear gloves when dealing with this. But since I'm just demonstrating and not actually doing it, I think that I'm okay. But basically, it seems like you would just kind of, just kind of like this, and then move it up and down, or wait, probably side. But yeah, you would just kind of go like, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you would just kind of, oh, okay. That's interesting. So, okay, I think I need a, alright, I'm going to place it down. I'm sorry it's taking so long. Yeah, okay. So you would place it securely, or better yet, have someone else hold it. And then I'm just going to close this. It's easier to show without the blade. Hindsight. Or in hindsight. So anyway, you would place it in here. It would be nice and, yeah, it would be nice. And then with this over here, and your right hand over here, you kind of move it as if, like rolling dough, I guess. That's the best way to describe it. I don't know. But yeah, it's always good to have it stable when doing it. But yeah, like I said, it's best to have it, like for a bow saw, for example, it's best to have a professional to do it, because they have all the right equipment, and they also know how to do it. Because I don't have the equipment, and I don't know a whole lot of people that do. I mean, I'm sure that there are people out there, but it's a lot easier just to have a professional to do it. Anyway, I hope that covers all of 3D. It should, Tenderfoot, there we go. Proper care sharpening, and one each should be used. So with a saw, it would be like cutting a big log into smaller pieces of firewood. With an axe, it would be cutting those smaller logs into even smaller for firewood, I guess. And then with pocket knife, well, it could be a lot of things, but with the pocket knife, mainly just, I don't know, whittling, yeah, I can't, maybe making tinder, I get, or what are we kindling? Making starter stuff for a fire. I guess a knife could help you with that. And I can't really think of anything else, so I hope that that covers it. And it should. So yeah, thank you for watching this. It's pretty long.